Hey guys. Is that annoying? Oops, let me get my popcorn. Oops, let me go reach over something real quick. Let me get another pack of popcorn. Is that annoying? Let me do it again. Is that annoying? That's what it's like watching this movie with some fucking asshole that wouldn't turn off his goddamn smartwatch. Motherfucker, fuck you if you see this video. Fuck you!
And you.
Medic! Get me out of here!
My deepest apologies for starting off this video with such hostility. I did not mean to do that. Not to you guys, at least, because you guys are my friends. We're homies. You guys are like, my disciples to Donnie Yen's Ip Man, the Poe to my Master Oogway. And guys, I gotta be honest here, the movie Mercy, it's actually not that bad. Well, it's filled with so many ridiculous plot developments, twists and turns that were obviously predictable, and holy shit, the trailers didn't look that great. Nothing about this movie really makes sense, but if there's one thing this movie accomplishes, it's constantly moving forward. The plot is just always moving, no matter how dumb and stupid it is, it's never boring. This entire movie was actually interesting from beginning to end, no matter how dumb it was. The Rotten Tomatoes critic score is abysmally low. I don't know how the hell it got such a horrible rating, but it is nowhere near that trash. It's definitely more around the 40-50% mark. We follow Chris Raven, portrayed by the one and only Chris Pratt. Yes, both their names are Chris, who is a working police detective that is unfortunately on trial because he apparently murdered his own wife. He can't seem to remember much of what happened the day before, but don't worry, the advanced AI portrayed by Rebecca Ferguson, Judge Maddox, is here to save the day. Well, not really save the day, more like be judge, jury, and executioner, and well, she's the only person you're going to be talking to, and you need to prove your case on your own with no help. You need to be a detective in your own case. You need to be your own lawyer. Does that concept make any sense? Absolutely not. Somehow this film expects audiences to completely ignore the fact that people who are put on trial don't know the law. They don't know everything. They don't know their fucking rights. They don't know anything. So how the fuck does this system expect to put people fairly on trial and expect them to somehow solve their own case and prove if they're innocent or not? Chris Pratt is only given 90 minutes to prove his innocence, so he is on the chase to find the real killer. I know what you're wondering. How is Chris Pratt going to do that when he's locked inside of a fucking chair? Well, in this future that is honestly not too far out from reality, Judge Maddox has access to basically anything and everything with a Wi-Fi connection. She can access everything on the cloud, everything that's been put online, every single document, photo, whatever the fuck that you can come up with, it's all there for her to pick up and play around with. So she is going to help Chris Pratt to try to solve his own crime and see whether or not he really is guilty or innocent. And she can recreate crime scenes and generate a 4D space for Chris Pratt to interact with, because I guess that's just what it can do, and you know what? It's kind of cool. I'm not gonna say no to that. Production-wise, this movie honestly ain't that bad looking. It's pretty solid, and some of the VFX in here were fucking amazing, and sometimes it was not all that great. But for the most part, this is a good looking movie. I mean, some of the cinematography was kind of bland and generic, but for the most part, it's feasible and it doesn't really need to do anything fancy, especially since it's pretty simply shot. Mainly just focus on Chris Pratt and Rebecca Ferguson, just a bunch of back and forth between them talking to each other, and that's really about it. I mean, there's some occasional stuff where Chris Pratt is having people go and search for evidence or whatever, or maybe find a person of interest while he's stuck in this chair. Watching body cams, drone footage, and ring cameras, and all kinds of other types of stuff that we can see really helps break this movie up to keep it interesting. And Chris Pratt is interacting with a UI provided by the judge with whatever he needs and wants to see. I mean, it is pretty fucking cool. Conceptually, this movie has a lot of potential. Realistically, there are so many flaws with this premise that it's honestly kind of a giggle fest. I mean, what? A person only gets 90 minutes to try to figure out their case, and they have to be a fucking detective to try to figure out if they actually are innocent or not? And what? This AI is given just full access to everything, but the police don't get access to this? What the hell is going on? And Chris Pratt's character is still recovering from a hangover, so this trial is already immediately unfair. Why hasn't he been given a week to maybe, I don't know, go through some different processes first and then go on trial against this AI that definitely does not want to kill him? Listen, okay, I know some folks out there are getting tired of Chris Pratt being everything, but you know what? I actually enjoy him in everything that he's in. Yeah, he's been in some movies that weren't all that great, but he's never bad in them. And that's what matters. Chris Pratt has always delivered a fantastic performance in every single one of his movies, especially here. He does a great, amazing job for this movie. Honestly, maybe he's doing it a little too hard. Maybe he's kind of like maybe overdoing his performance because this movie kind of doesn't really deserve it, but he's solid, he's great. Unfortunately, Rebecca Ferguson just can't seem to maintain a consistent accent. Once again, she is slipping in and out of her Swedish accent into the American accent and then back and forth and here and there, and it's just constantly kind of distracting me. Not to say that she delivers a bad performance, it's just unfortunate that she either hasn't gotten herself a proper accent coach or I don't know what the hell is going on, but to be honest, I think this movie probably would have worked with an actual AI actor or actress with an AI voice, because that's the whole point of the movie, right? To sort of prove and show that AI is just as flawed as human beings, because that kind of is a running theme in this movie, and although it doesn't really focus on it enough to really help deliver its ending, I appreciated what it was trying to do. You can be angry about AI all you want, but this movie definitely would have benefited from it. I think it really could have helped sell the message even harder by the end, but what do I know? And well, I'm not gonna say no to Rebecca Ferguson. The writing really is the weakest part of this movie, just full of so many ridiculous and predictable twists and turns with plot developments that are just fucking stupid as hell and kind of just awesome at the same time. But we're expected to just turn off our brains and not ask some pretty fair questions like, why the fuck isn't Chris Pratt's time going up in order to further solve this case, because he's clearly finding more evidence and potential suspects? Why the hell is he only limited to 90 minutes? Why the fuck was he just immediately, the day after the murder was discovered, put into this chair already? The police and other detectives are still at the crime scene trying to gather all the evidence, and apparently they didn't even search through the entire house. There are just so many things wrong with this movie that make illogical sense, and for a judge, an AI judge that's designed to look at the facts, to look at things logically and solve crimes to help figure out if someone's innocent or guilty, it is the most ridiculous, pathetic. It's like whoever programmed it didn't know how to actually solve crimes, which makes no fucking sense because Chris Pratt's character helped build the damn thing. Mercy is a frustratingly potential-filled movie that really could have been something. It could have been great. What makes this movie watchable and actually enjoyable is the fact that it's just constantly moving. Again, this movie never lets up for a single second. I never found myself bored, and that's probably the best thing that this movie accomplished. Never being boring, because that's the worst crime. At least for a movie with a poor script, they know how to keep things fun and dumb. It's not all that fun, but it is consistently thrilling with Chris Pratt finding new details and having these conversations with the AI, and the AI is also kind of bantering with him and learning different things. So really, this movie can serve as a turn off your brain Hollywood flick to turn on in the background at a party, and that's a category of its own. Mercy gets Chris Pratt out of 3. Alright, I appreciate you guys listening to me rant about this movie. Sorry for taking so long to catch up on certain stuff, because I've been really busy for the past 2 weekends, especially this last weekend, but I'm gonna try to catch up, especially with 28 years later, The Bone Temple. Anyways, I'll I'll catch you guys next time. Yeah!